Southie, summer of '66. Let me tell you, I was a kid, all piss and vinegar, sitting on the stoop watching the world go by. Thought I knew everything. The neighborhood was my whole world. The draft board was breathing down our necks, and I figured, if I'm going my way. I enlisted for all the wrong reasons. Pride, stubbornness, to get out. I wanted the title. United States Marine. Sounded like a man. I didn't have a clue. Boot camp at Paris Island. They break you down. They build you back up into something that works. I was 19, thinking I was tough. They showed me what tough really was. It was a system, a machine. You learn to move, think, breathe as one. By the time I got my eagle, globe, and anchor, I believed it. I was a Marine. 1967. They told us we were going to a place called One Corps, the northern sector. Said it was hot. Nothing prepares you. The wall of heat when that bird's ramp went down. It hit you in the chest, like opening an oven. And the smell. Rotting green, diesel fuel, and something else. Something sour. The noise was constant. A thrumming. Helicopters, generators, voices yelling over it all. It wasn't like the movies. The movies are quiet until the action starts. There is no quiet. They assigned me to a rifle company. First night in the bush, the incoming started. Not even at us, just harassing fire way off in the distance. But the sound, the crack of the rounds, the thump of the mortars, it makes the world get real small, real fast. You stop thinking about home, about why you're there. You think about the dirt in front of your face. You learn the precision real quick, how to check your perimeter, how to listen. Not out of discipline at first, out of fear. That's where I met Mikey. Michael O'Connell from Chicago. Another Irish kid with more heart than sense. We were paired up, watching each other's backs. You find your brother fast over there. There's no time for anything else. One evening, after a long, thirsty patrol, we were cleaning our rifles. Just a moment of calm, the sun going down, turning everything to gold through the dust. He offered me a cigarette. I didn't even smoke. I took it. We didn't talk much. Didn't have to. You just knew. He was the good one. The one who still could laugh. I was the hardhead. We balanced. Then came the order. A routine patrol, they said. Outside Hue. Just go out, have a look, come back. Routine. That word doesn't mean anything over there. We moved out at first light. The rain had started. A cold, steady drizzle that turned the red dirt to mud. It was too quiet. The jungle was watching. We all felt it. My stomach was in a knot. Mikey was right behind me. I could hear his breathing. We were in the open, a damn rice paddy when the world exploded. The patrol was Charlie Company, 1st Platoon. A mixed bag of kids. There was me, Mikey, and a few others you get to know real quick. There was Rodriguez from the Bronx, quiet, could field strip his M16 in the dark. Jenkins, the farm kid from Iowa who could smell water a click away. And our squad leader, Sergeant Harrigan, a lifer, first tour in Korea. He had that look in his eyes like he'd already seen the end of the movie. He didn't like the op order, said the intel was thin. But we went. We humped for hours. That red mud, it gets on everything. Weighs your boots down like concrete. The rain just made it worse, a cold, soaking misery. We were supposed to be checking out a reported VC trail near a village called Phu Loc. Routine. Harrigan kept us tight, moving slow. He'd stop, hold up a fist, just listen. The jungle wasn't right. No birds. You learn that fast. When the birds stop singing, something's in the tree line with you. We came up on a clearing, a wide stretch of rice paddy, maybe 200 meters to the next tree line. A killing field. My skin started crawling. Harrigan called a halt. We crouched in the last bit of cover. He got on the horn, whispered to the lieutenant back at the fire base. I remember looking at Mikey. He gave me a tight little nod, his knuckles white on his rifle. He felt it too. Rodriguez was scanning his sector, not blinking. Jenkins was just staring at the far tree line, his jaw set. Harrigan came back, his face like stone. We're crossing. Single file, 10-meter intervals. Move fast, stay low. It was the only way to the coordinates. We had to cross. That's the job. You know it's bad, but you go. I was point. Mikey was right behind me, my cover. I took a breath, that sour mud and rain smell filling my nose, and I stepped out into the open. The mud sucked at my boots. Every step was too loud. The drizzle was a curtain, making the far trees a blur. Halfway across, my heart was hammering against my ribs. We were exposed. Completely. I could feel every one of those 200 meters. We were 3/4 of the way, almost to the other side. I remember thinking, maybe we're going to make it. Maybe it's clear. I glanced back at Mikey. He was right there. Then I heard it. A single sharp crack from the tree line. A sniper. It wasn't the explosion. That came after. That one shot was the starter's pistol. The world just came apart. That one crack. Then the whole tree line lit up. Automatic weapons fire, like 1,000 zippers tearing open the sky. The mud around me started dancing. They had us in a perfect L-shaped ambush. I hit the deck. The world was noise and mud and tracers. I was screaming, "Return fire! Return fire!" But I couldn't even hear my own voice. I saw Rodriguez go down, just crumple. Jenkins was up on one knee, firing controlled bursts like he was on the range. Harrigan was roaring, trying to get a base of fire established. I looked back for Mikey. He was pinned down in a shallow irrigation ditch, maybe 20 feet behind me. The fire was heaviest between us, a wall of lead. He looked at me and I saw it. Not fear, determination. He was going to try to move up to me. I shook my head. "Stay down," I yelled, but it was lost. He started to low crawl. That's my Mikey. Never leave a man. Then the mortars started walking in. Whump, whump, whump. The concussions punched the air from your lungs. Dirt and water and God knows what raining down. A round landed short of Mikey's ditch. Then the next one was right on top of it. The blast. It wasn't like the movies. It was a dark, wet thud. I saw his body lift. It's seared in there. I don't have a choice. I see it. Everything went quiet in my head. Just a high-pitched ring. I was moving. I didn't think. I got up and ran through the fire to that ditch. He was in pieces, Tom. My best friend since first grade. I fell on him. I was trying to put him together. I was screaming his name. I had his dog tags in my hand. The chain was broken. Harrigan was there then, grabbing me by the collar, hauling me back. "He's gone, Sullivan. He's gone. You're in command now." Command. Mikey was dead in that ditch, and the sergeant was telling me I was in command. The rest of the squad was looking to me. Jenkins, his face white. Rodriguez was still down. That's what rank means. It means your heart can be lying in a ditch, but your men need you to think. We fought our way out, called in gunships. It took hours. We brought Rodriguez out. He made it. Jenkins made it. We didn't leave anyone, not alive. But we left Mikey. We had to. The medevac bird couldn't get in for the remains. Unrecoverable. That's what they wrote. I had to write the letter to his mother. I told her he was a hero. He was. But I also told her he died quick. That was the first lie. I've been lying about it ever since. To her. To myself. The rest of my tour was a blur. I did my job. I brought my boys home. But something in me stayed in that rice paddy. Something broke clean off. I came back to Southie, but I never really came home. Not until Margaret, God bless her, fished me out of a bottle years later. But that's a story for another day. Let me tell you what it means. It means for 51 years I've wondered if I'd signaled him to stay put, if I'd done my job better. He'd have grandchildren now. He'd have a life. I live with that. Every single day. Coming home was the second hardest thing I ever did. They gave me a medal and a handshake at the airport. Some kid spat on my uniform. Welcome back. I walked into my mother's house and she cried just looking at me. She said I had old eyes. I was 23. I'd sit at the kitchen table in Southie, staring at the wall, and all I could see was that ditch. The noise of the L train would make me hit the deck. Margaret, God love her, she was my girl before I left. She stayed. She'd find me in the middle of the night, sitting straight up in bed, soaked through. I couldn't tell her. How do you bring that into a clean room? So I buried it. I got a job. I married my Maggie. We had Tommy, then Colleen. I was a ghost in my own house. I'd be at the dinner table, laughing with my kids, and in my head I was counting how many steps it was from my chair to the door, planning fields of fire. The 4th of July? Forget it. I'd be in the basement with a bottle, the fireworks sounding like incoming. I was a stranger to them, an angry, distant man drinking to forget a face. I broke my Maggie's heart 1,000 times. She'd look at me with those eyes, begging me to come back to her. I couldn't find the way. The drink was the only thing that shut the movie off. It almost cost me everything, my family, my self-respect. The night she packed the kids' bags, that was my bottom. She looked at me and said, "Tom Sullivan, I love you, but I will not let you teach my children that this is what love looks like." She saved my life twice, once from the war and once from myself. Getting sober was harder than combat. In combat, you know who the enemy is. This was inside me. I started talking, first to a counselor at the VA, a tough old bird who'd been in Korea, then slowly to Maggie. I'd sit at our kitchen table, her hand over mine, and I'd tell her about Mikey, about the smell of the patty, about the guilt. She just listened. She carried it with me. I found my brothers again, too, other guys from the neighborhood who served. We don't talk much about the bad stuff. We don't have to. We'll be having coffee, and a helicopter will go over, and we'll all just get quiet for a second. A look passes between us. That's the brotherhood. It's in the silence. We go to the memorial on the anniversary, just stand there with our hands on the wall, finding his name. That's when I talk to him. I tell him about the kids, about the grandbabies. I tell him I'm sorry. Every time. What do I want you to understand? The kid who spat on me, he didn't know. The people who called us baby killers, they didn't know. We weren't politicians. We were kids from Southie and the Bronx and Iowa who raised our hands and said we'd go. The war wasn't in here. It was over there. We fought for the man next to us. Period. Mikey died for me and Rodriguez and Jenkins. Not for a flag. For his brothers. That's the truth of it. To the young ones thinking about serving, do it. It'll be the hardest thing you ever love. You'll learn what you're made of. You'll find a brotherhood that never leaves you. But you go in with your eyes open. You carry it home. And for God's sake, when you come home, you talk. You find your Margaret. You find your brothers. Don't do what I did. Don't bury it in a bottle. The dead don't care if you suffer. The living need you to live. I've carried Mikey for 51 years. I used to think the weight would kill me. Now I know it's what keeps me standing. It's the anchor. I loved him. He loved me. He made a choice in a split second, a choice born of a lifetime of friendship and a week of boot camp bonding. Semper Fi. He was always faithful. I'm 75 years old. I sit on my porch in Quincy with my Maggie. We watch the grandkids play. The war is a long way off.